yo, welcome everybody to another episode. It is my tag team partner, Bang, what's happening?
What's good? What's good, everybody? This is the Underground of Professional Wrestling Podcast. If you don't know, now you know. I am your host, Chitty Bang. He just said it. He's the most high. And we're here to talk a little wrestling again. And we are here via satellite once again. We actually didn't do a pre-production podcast show. I mean, we didn't do a pre-production meeting. So this is going to be on the fly,
Freestyle.
uh, freestyle, like old school back in the day style. And let's just kick it off with the draft. I say, me and you were just talking a little bit about the draft and the importance of the draft with WWE. And I was getting into the how I'm excited. I love the draft. However, However, I do miss the days a little bit when anything could happen because there was a big roster and anything, we don't know who could show up on what show, who could challenge what guy and for what title. And it allowed a little bit of flexibility with WWE's roster because there's a lot of talent. When I look at the draft, I notice how much talent they have bangers legitimately every single week. And I think that's an advantage that AEW has a little bit because they not only have their own roster of talent and they don't have a different brand extension, but they can pull people out from the indies as well. So I think that's something that does it can be a positive, but there is a drawback to it a little bit when it comes to the unpredictability of the show. And you just take it away because that's all I got.
Well, I think my combativeness to that statement is like we look at how Raw will be an add-on show I'm sorry, SmackDown will be an add-on show for Raw, right? Like a continuation. So if we didn't like what we liked on Raw, they double down on it on SmackDown. So that is like what I look at that like right. We look at what like you say AEW right now. AEW Rampage is supposed to be a standalone show, but is usually not because it is a continuation of what has happened on Dynamite. You see what I'm saying? Now
I don't see it that way. I mean, like for instance, we got Jay Cargill, Thunder Rosa, and Lala Rose this week on Rampage, right? That was the main event. Um, we didn't hear nothing about them, on Dynamite, so they give you something different, and I think they promote their matches pretty well, But WWE obviously they do angles.
I'm not gonna let you off the hook for that, nigga. They about to do an 8-man tag for what just happened on Rampage, and the match that opened up Rampage was something that happened on Dynamite, my nigga. So like, it is a continuation of Daniel Bryan and Matt Jackson or Nick Jackson opened up Rampage for something that happened from Dynamite, and what happened on Rampage of that 8-man tag was announced for something that was going to be done on Dynamite. So they do have a swing of things that is continuous thread of the promotion.
And I see what you're saying. I do get you. But I'm saying that like it's not. I mean, I think that any wrestling company who has multiple shows, there should be something that's continuous. I do believe that. I'm not saying it's a completely different show. But like they do offer a new.
That goes back to my point of the difference between Raw and SmackDown, where when you have a big enough roster to be able to do so, I would like for Rampage to be something different from Dynamite. Not granted, that triple threat was different from Dynamite. But nigga, we want to see those three bitches on Dynamite. You see what I'm saying? Like we will.
And we will see them. I'm positive that you can mix and match. And my thing is that they're not hamstrung to saying, oh, you're just a Dynamite act, or Daniel Bryan, you can only catch him on Thursdays or maybe on Wednesdays. They can book Daniel Bryan on a Wednesday, they can put him on a Friday, and then you might not see him, if they choose not to. CM Punk didn't even wrestle this week, and that's fine. So I look at it like that when you got a big roster, you have more flexibility to mix and match and put things together. But I get why WWE does it. Don't get me wrong. Like,
so the reason why I'm saying is like I wish that we had the ability to go in and out, but I mean, if they had the ability to go in and out, we'll see fucking Charlotte and Becky all the fucking time.
I
I'm glad,
hope not.
but okay. You say I hope not, but okay.
Because to me, look, because when you have a whole roster to choose from, and you got Charlotte as champion, and you got whatever you can get Charlotte and Becky this week, but next week you can get Charlotte and Bianca. Next week you can get Charlotte and Sasha. Next week you can get Charlotte and whoever, and or you can get some two other girls that are just new, like Toni Storm and I don't know Liv Morgan. I believe that building the acts, WWE has their own formula, and I like it, and I know why they do the brand split. But with that being said, I'm not shitting on the draft. I love the draft, what they're doing right now with the draft. I do believe that nothing really takes firmly hold until after Crown Jewel.
The 22nd, October
22nd, which is awesome. I like that because guess what? We're getting King of the Ring and Queen's Crown matches until Crown Jewel. Now that gives also the writing staff a month to come up with your roster's angles. Maybe 2 months because we got Survivor Series right after that. So you got like 2 months to figure something out. How are you going to get us to WrestleMania? How are you going to get us to buy into these characters until WrestleMania? You guys got your work cut out for you, writing staffs. I look forward to seeing what happens.
That's why I like the separation. That go back to our original conversation. It does give them a separation because there are two different ways of telling the story now. If there was one solid thread of having Raw and SmackDown, you have too much convolution that's available to them. You feel me? You got too many ways that niggas gotta get. You gotta get that. You gotta do that. You got right now. You look at Raw and SmackDown individually and be like, nigga, are you a primetime player on this show? Cool. Are you a primetime player on this show? Cool. Then we are then able to like Marvel, right? They have a multiverse that they have been weaving us in and out, right? That they've been getting. We thought at the end of Monday night, Drew and Big E, and he was like, "Oh, okay, Drew and Big E, that's nice."
Yeah.
Nah, we're gonna get what we saw last year, Drew and Roman.
Yeah,
and
that's a swerve that, and no pun intended. Shout out to Hit Row. They got drafted, Swerve and them. So I'm happy for that. I told you, man, they got to come up together. Hit Row is an act that like they worked well together. But yeah, back to the Drew McIntyre thing. I mean, Drew and Roman, I thought that was one of the best matches last year at Survivor Series. I cannot wait to see that again. We got Big E on Raw now with challengers coming up. We got Edge on Raw. There's so many possibilities that I see that can boost Big E as a main eventer, with Edge and Randy Orton being there. Like for me, I already have like WrestleMania in my mind already planned out before we even get to night 2 of the draft. I'm looking at Roman. I'm looking at Big E possibly doing something with Edge and Randy Orton in a triple threat at WrestleMania. This is just me fantasy booking. I'm looking at Bianca and Charlotte being separated so maybe they can get a WrestleMania match. I'm looking at I'm looking at Roman and Drew. I'm looking at a bunch of different potential. I want to see Matt Riddle and Damian Priest maybe in a ladder match, at WrestleMania for a championship. Give me the Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon shit. Like that's how my mind goes when I see the trap. And I'm like, all right.
How do you go there? It's not even complete yet. We don't know where niggas is gonna land.
I'm saying there are possibilities, bro. That's all I'm saying. All I know is that Matt Riddle is still on Raw.
I know.
We'll see where Damian Priest lands. They swap him and Shinsuke, then I guess we can't get that.
Not so much just that. Like, you said that you want a triple threat with Big E, Edge, and Randy. Nah, because then that means Big E's like Chris Benoit at that point. He's just thrown into a story of Edge and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like,
it all depends on how you tell it. Big E's not thrown into anything. If he's champion, they're chasing Big E, so automatically he's champion. I believe that Big E winning over an established veteran is important for his reign. Absolutely.
By the time he's at WrestleMania, bro, we won't even be. I'm not even. That's why you say, like, I'm not. By the time we at WrestleMania, like, Big E won't need that to solidify his championship reign by then. You know what I mean? Like, because if we are looking at the draft, I think Seth is going to follow Edge where he's at. So ultimately, I think the person that's gonna put Big E, if we're going just freestyling, I think unilaterally, I think the person that's gonna, it's not gonna be a legend. It's gonna be a newfound star. Seth and Big E is money. The first and second ever two fucking, the first and second NXT champion, Edge and Seth are gonna finish their story. Seth is going to leave Edge in the fucking dust. Once he
And
does,
he's
Seth is eye is for the title.
see, I wouldn't mind keeping Seth on SmackDown, seeing Seth and Drew and Seth and some people link up. I want to see Seth and Roman at WrestleMania. You know, that's why I want to. That's why I wouldn't mind keeping him on SmackDown. I don't want either one of those guys winning the Royal Rumble either. But I think that Seth and Roman should be at WrestleMania this year.
I can't say Seth and Roman should be at. I'm not going to say I believe Seth and Roman should be at WrestleMania, because I'm looking at exactly what you're saying. I'm looking at the landscape and who are big dog draws. You know what I mean? Big dog draws might be the fucking
Big
might.
dog draws.
I think
That's the name of the pod. Big dog draws.
I think you're looking at the landscape, and I see Roman holding that title until it is a undeniable babyface. Seth isn't that. I think Seth does fit for his current character, his current wrestling style, his current mattering to the business, what he's doing. I think it is best for him and Big E at WrestleMania to be that match. I think Seth and Big E can have a monster of a fucking match
Okay.
at WrestleMania. I'm looking at Roman on the other side. And if we talk about Damian Priest is going to get made into a made man.
I
I,
do think he has the potential to be a main man, but I do also think that Damian Priest is not going to be getting over with the crowd if he stays as a babyface and goes for a championship. Eventually, they're gonna sour on him. He needs to be a heel, and that's why I would say him and Riddle can go at each other because Riddle can be that babyface that takes him, to the limit, wins the title, then Damian Priest just goes heel on him, And I want, and Riddle's a babyface. Riddle's that guy who can beat Roman. Riddle's that guy who can probably one day be that major star babyface who goes after Roman. I don't see anybody else.
I definitely can see people outside of Riddle. No shot at my guy Riddle.
Unless it was Biggie until he got the championship, but now he's on Raw.
No,
But
looking at the roster as is, and we're talking about just one night. I'm also looking like, listen, Apollo got drafted to Raw, my nigga. Apollo and Big E's gonna slap for the title, nigga. I picked that up. I picked that up from somebody. I'm running with it, nigga. I want to see that now. I think Big E, for one, like you say, you think Big E needs a legend to kind of solidify himself. I see Big E right now as that champion. I think they're gonna go away from the Kofi stuff.
I'm glad they're going away from New Day and Kofi and all that stuff.
I'm saying as far as the Kofi storytelling, right? Because you look at Kofi storytelling, Kofi had to do everybody wrong that did him wrong during his championship reign. If you look at that story thread, everybody who said that he couldn't be champion between Dolph, between fucking Randy, right? He had to go exercise demons. Big E doesn't really have demons he needs to exercise at this point in time. You know what I mean? So I don't look at it to where he has to quote unquote prove himself as a right now. He is the champion of the future, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know what I mean by him taking a victory over a legend. I think everybody needs that when they're on their first reign. Drew needed that with Randy. He did. And then he lost it to Randy, then he got it back. But he needed a victory over a bona fide established star. Biggie needs that right now. I think that's for everybody who gets the first reign as champion. I think that Kofi got it when he beat Randy too, but then he immediately got dropped to Brock. So it didn't last long. But right now, with things going down the way they're structured, I love Biggie as a babyface champion right now. but he needs a real threat to come at him. And Bobby Lashley is that guy if they keep him on Raw. But in my opinion, Bobby might, in the Hurt business, might need to switch over to SmackDown. But with that being said, I don't know with the Hurt, with Hit Row being there, with the Bloodline being there, they might just think it's best to keep Bobby on Raw. But with Bobby and Big E, those two guys have chemistry. But Bobby still is he's a main eventer now. Bobby, I need legends to take a loss to Big E, so he gets that boost as credibility. And it doesn't need to happen at WrestleMania. Even it can happen at TLC. It can happen, Royal Rumble. He could take a victory, and he might not even be champion by WrestleMania comes around. So who knows?
I'm looking at it and I'm thinking like can like I was thinking Biggie's chapter with Bobby's done. That was a definitive.
It feels like it was done, yeah.
That was a definitive.
But would you move him to SmackDown? Because the Hurt business might be with him now, and
the Blood's not gonna be on SmackDown. Did you see the tea leaves, my nigga? Go to Raw and make sure you're going on SmackDown. Nigga, you're going to Raw, you get left on Raw. Like that's what's gonna happen. Roman's gonna have to be by himself. Big E's gonna have to be by himself. And therefore, we're gonna get back to exactly what we said that we wanted. Individuality between the stars, also separate. Because therefore, I know definitively Roman gonna have to go after his how he go after his. Now I know the Bloodline helps, and yes, we would have loved to see. And yes, we would love to see New Day versus the Usos. I mean, the Bloodline at Survivor Series, but we got that already. So we need to not book that again. That means now you don't have the flexibility you do when you separate those two niggas. Now let's separate these niggas. Let's separate. We know Bianca's on Raw. So guess who's going to follow? The Street Profits. Yeah, I mean, we look like we thought that the Usos and the Street Profits had a swanton when they had their match. You know what I mean? And when they won the tag team titles at Extreme Rules. So with that being said,
well, if you're following that logic, the Bloodline sticks together. Because guess what? Naomi's on SmackDown officially again. So I believe that the way they're looking at things, the Bloodline ain't breaking up. I think that they're teasing it. Don't get me wrong, but if they break up the Bloodline and they put it, he also said leave Paul Heyman on Raw to for dead. That means that Roman is solely by himself as head of the table, and I don't think that's what they're doing right now.
I don't think that's either. So when you're looking at the roster now and talking about what might happen, I won't have a better judge of it until Monday. And that's because I don't know if they'll call MSK up to Raw.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
I don't know.
You never know. Shout out to Leah. She just got drafted after 7 years, being at. I remember her back when they did Proving Ground with NXT when they first had it on the network. And she came in and she's been jobbing for years in NXT. I guess she's doing a job now on the main roster. So shout out to Aaliyah. But with MSK possibly coming up, they're tag team champions. It seems like they're trying to heat them up. It might not happen right away.
Fucking Swerve is North American champion.
That's true. That is true. But he's never defended the title, by the way.
They were so bad. It's so bad. There's like Swerve won the title June 29th. It's October.
Never defended it. Going to the main roster with the title.
Great. Yeah, I mean, great.
Yeah, greatness, man. But I'd love the calls from NXT. Hit Row is an act that I think is made for the main roster. Really, I think that they're beyond NXT. And now they're doing NXT 2.0, which we can talk about NXT 2.0 in a moment. But with the new, let's talk about the.
Go ahead.
Because we didn't talk NXT 2.0 when we were talking on Monday, but
Breaker is my nigga. I don't care what that nigga support, nigga. Braun Breaker is my motherfucking dog. He's a big dog draw, my
he's
nigga.
a big dog draw. I feel you, man. Braun Breaker might be in NXT for like 2 months before they run him up to face Big E. Like he has the it factor, man. I believe that. I mean, I hope he's not taking up in 2 months, but I believe that Braun Breaker has made an immediate impact from NXT 2.0, and that's what they needed for NXT 2.0. They needed one guy, just one guy, to make an immediate impact, and he was that dude.
And ultimately, when you're Vince and you have these ideas, that is what you're banking on. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That is how you have the gumption and the gall and why would he break this up? Oh man, it's gonna be the worst thing, because all you need is one of that.
So then, in that case, then you keep him on NXT, and you build that shit around Braun Breaker. You make him that new staple of this new generation of NXT. You know, I believe that with Tommaso Ciampa's there, Adam Cole left, you know, Johnny Gargano doing whatever, who knows. Austin Theory just left. There's a lot of fluctuation going on with NXT 2.0. So they're in a place where, hey, you can go either way. But for one thing I can say for sure, Braun Breaker's a hit. You know, that's one thing you can take from it. NXT, because we haven't talked NXT 2.0 on the pod. We haven't talked about it on the pod. The rebrand. How are you feeling about it overall, though?
I mean, it's again. I think we've mentioned it since we haven't talked about it at all since it happened.
Since it happened, since we actually seen what the set looked like, since we've seen the new people that came in from the PC, you know, the new tempo of the show, you know.
I mean, do I want to judge him? Like, is it good or bad? I knew 2.0 meant we are disbanding what was. So as you say, I'm gonna take a cheaty banger, right? I look at this show with a clean slate. You know what I mean? And ultimately, like, they haven't built up anything for it to go right. Like last week, right? Just past show, they made it ladies' night. They seem like they're going to cater as the wind blows. You see what I'm saying? Like, they have an idea of what the show is going to be. It's going to be younger. It's going to be, quote unquote, hipper. It's going to be back to what we need it to be, a developmental area. You see what I'm saying? Because also you got to look at it too. When you look at these books, we talk about business. It's a lot of high-paid wrestlers that was on NXT, my nigga, for a company or for a branch of the company that didn't necessarily make money for the company. Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, we gotta break this bitch down, and we gotta keep the essentials, right? Keep the essentials. Clearly, it looks like Tommaso Ciampa is a bridge.
Are you in the dungeon?
Right. Clearly, looks like that fucking what we thought was a staple, Hit Row, is elevated beyond that. You see what I'm saying? Like, so we looking at the show, it's kind of hard to gauge, because if Hit Row stays there, that's a plateau for them.
It is, unless they did War Games like I thought they would do, but they're not. Because I think that one match can make a statement. I do believe that if you can't Hit Row.
But do you sacrifice? Do you sacrifice a month of building? It's almost like looking at your rookie quarterback, right? Do I sacrifice a month of practice, per se, getting the reps in with the first teamers and practice and shit like that, building your confidence,
just for them to get swapped up,
throwing you into the woods? You go on SmackDown and see if your gimmick travels. You know what I mean? Like, because it's hard to gauge right now with that crowd. You know what I mean? Like, you don't, right? They're booing MSK. How are you booing MSK? You know what I mean? exactly what is going to be a focal point. Like we said, no Braun Breaker. You just said it. Give Braun Breaker 2 months, I'm gone because he will plateau. And
yeah, I mean, this what I look at because I think Vince will see him and be like, "Yeah, we need you to do something by WrestleMania time." I think that's how Vince thinks. But if he's smart, you got a whole show on USA called NXT 2.0. Keep a main player there for some time so they get some stability. You know, um, I do believe that NXT 2.0 is going to take some time for us to find the flow. I think there's a lot of new faces, a lot of people that look like creative wrestlers from WWE 2K, and that's not a dig because it takes time for people to get used to these characters. I think that when I first saw Angelo Dawkins in basketball shorts, I was like, that is definitely a creative wrestler because no one wears basketball shorts in a wrestling ring. But now he's Street Profits, main roster, former tag team champion. I love the guy. Great work. He has increased tremendously in the ring. And it just takes that kind of like that time of, you know, you know, marination, I guess, on the, with the audience and the time. But so far so good, I believe. You know, they haven't shit the bed, I would say, on NXT 2.0, and
I was
Tommaso getting the championship was a smart deal.
I was
It's a
never
smart idea.
I was never worried about that though. That was my thing. I was never worried about them shitting the bed because as we talked about previously, NXT has always been about evolution, right? NXT has never stayed what it once was. It always shedded new skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I don't get me wrong. I think there's hardcore NXT fans who they lost. I'm not going front. Like I think there's hardcore NXT fans.
them niggas was gone when AEW came. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Like let's keep it a buck. Those
Not true, not true. Because you know James, you know James. He's a huge NXT fan. You go to the shows constantly with his daughter. He NXT was his main thing. Even when AEW came around, like he's like AEW, yeah, yeah, yeah. NXT is my favorite thing in professional wrestling. Now AEW has gotten hot. Now I feel like is when AEW has been taking a lot of the hardcore NXT fans. I think this past couple 3 months or so, they hit the gas on AEW, and that's when people were like, oh, okay, this is like my favorite thing now. You know, including me. I think AEW has impressed me to a degree where I'm like, okay, they got something here that is going to last for a very long time,
I
huh?
want to ask you like we when AEW happened, right? When AEW happened, keep it funky. The fans who loved NXT were the fans who hated WWE the product because NXT was grungy, underground. It has some of the best indie performers and shit like that. And so NXT made you feel as if it was raging against the machine within the machine.
For real.
Once AEW came about, those fans left.
They gravitated towards AEW. Yeah,
They left. So when you so
I wouldn't
so
say left. I think they gravitated towards AEW as well.
I can go back to
Because
I can go back to our podcast. Once you had an alternative, that you gravitated more to AEW, not just giving it a shot and making an excuse for it. Like, nah, AEW not so much it's your baby, but AEW is where you go to watch wrestling, like NXT used to be where you go to watch wrestling.
it just became that way for me over the past 3 months personally. But I think a lot of other people could have been that way. You know, I would come on a podcast when AEW started and kill it. I would kill it. You know, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. You know, but I would give it some time. You know, and all that stuff. It just started to kick into gear recently. I think maybe this year when Kenny started doing the belt thing, I'm like, oh, okay. Y'all started doing. Then they had the Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa match, and that got my attention. I was like, oh, okay, the women's division's kicking up. That was back February, I believe. So they've had a good year, you know, and I guess gotta give them props. Right now, NXT 2.0, I do believe is somewhat of a reaction to AEW of like all right, we had cross promoted these two shows on the same night. We had to move, and we're gonna up change and pivot gears. I think if NXT were to, not if they were winning the rating stuff, there would be no reason to change it. If they were, I don't think this pivot would have happened. It would, but and Adam Cole probably would still be there. I do believe that this is somewhat of a reaction because when your business happens and the industry changes and the landscape changes a little bit, you got to make changes. And I don't knock WWE for the rebrand. I'm interested to see where it goes now. Because we got whenever Takeover comes back around, those matches are going to tell me if you guys got something. Those
That's
matches.
that's what I mean. That's when it last, and that's what you would tell me about AEW, right? You would tell me that the week to week stuff that they were building, I couldn't necessarily judge it because they're finding their feet. That was what
Yeah.
you would tell me. You would say,
Yeah.
judge it off the all outs, judge it off the full gears, judge it to make you if you buy the paper.
Yeah.
That was what
Exactly.
you tell me.
Uh,
So I'm looking at NXT in that same vein.
likewise. I believe so too. But let's talk about it. AEW. I know we're going pretty fast because it's a lot that happened this week. But and we have a draft, so it's like a lot of the feuds
It's
are still simmering and whatnot.
it's 30.
Um,
We've been flowing.
yeah, for real. Um, AEW right now has a lot of steam, a lot of energy right now, and this week we got last week we got Daniel Bryan and Kenny Omega, 30-minute draw. One of the best matches of the year. People are saying. I thought it was a great match. I thought it was a smart decision. I don't know where they're gonna go with it per se, but I'm giving it time, and I'm waiting for the end of October to see what they come up with because in about 30 days around Halloween, there's a guy whose non-compete clause is done. So we'll see where he goes. But right now, excluding that, they got Kenny Omega, AEW champion. Sammy Guevara just defeated Miro. Me and you had a discussion about that. We weren't all on board with that completely, but the match itself was good. It was a good match, bro.
They work.
Uh, it
I'm
worked.
I'm not gonna say they're not a worker, but like he got the title off the merit that his best friend got his ass beat, and I'm like, damn, is Sammy Guevara EVP too, my nigga?
Dude, homeboy bet his car and lost.
And guess what Sammy Guevara should have did? Sammy Guevara should have lost.
Okay.
I think Sammy Guevara should, and I get it. They were in Rochester. They were in Brody's hometown. They were highlighting the TNT championship that he made. So I understand it. I completely understand it. Sammy Guevara wasn't the guy then.
I don't think he was the next up, but I'm
No,
not mad at it because Sammy is very talented. So I'm interested to see where it goes. Because Miro's reign, honestly, probably was the best TNT Championship reign out of everybody so far. I loved it. Honestly, I don't think that Miro needs to be overexposed. I don't until he goes to the until he goes for the AEW Championship. Right now, just keep him backstage talking his shit. Come out there, kill somebody in the ring, and keep it moving. Miro is that dude. So I loved seeing his reign and how dominant he was.
exclusive. Yeah, that's the same gimmick he had. You know what I
So
mean?
I mean that's who he is. Honestly, he's a Bulgarian brute who comes out there and crushes people. He doesn't need a love angle. He doesn't need to have a flag. He just needs to go out there and fuck people up. I'm curious to see where Miro goes from here. So that's where I'm interested with that storyline. But you just brought it up a second ago. They were in Rochester, right? They were in Rochester, Brody's hometown. I believe they came in there with the intention of honoring his memory, and much to my surprise, I was thoroughly entertained with that Dark Order and Orange Cassidy versus H2O match because of that reason, man. They actually have been building dissension with Dark Order for the past couple weeks, and then they got to Rochester, and you saw it play out. Uno was trying to leave the ring, said "fuck these niggas," and Brody's wife comes out and says, "This is for Brody. Get back to that ring, and you go out there and win that match." I loved it, the storytelling in it. And then the John Silver, who I am not a huge fan of, just went off on the outside of the ring doing a bunch of different moves. The whole match was dope. So that's one of my bangers of the week. I gotta hand it to these guys. They showed out. They showed out, and they actually had storytelling. The match had quality. So AEW has been hitting. It's been hitting for me. And then the match that started the show was Jungle Boy versus Adam Cole, baby. And it's all about the boom. That guy, Adam Cole, right now, one of the best wrestlers in the world. We know this. That's not a question. However, me and you talked about it on WhatsApp. Jungle Boy, Jungle Boy has my respect now. Jungle Boy gets busy. And I'm gonna tell you right now, he ain't low. He ain't no low tier nigga. And we'll get to MJF in a second. But there's 4 pillars in AEW as far as their upstarting 10. Me, I can bring it up to 6 if I'm counting, but they said 4. They said MJF, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy for a reason. And this guy, Chris, the Most High, Joint Roller Ayatollah, told me that Jungle Boy is low tier. He said Adam Cole got to get away from these low tier niggas.
You ain't gotta speak for me. I said it. I said Adam Cole. Matter of fact, let me read it verb. I need the meme. I'm pussy, nigga.
Read it, man.
Hold on. I'm about to bring it right now. I said Adam Cole needs to get away from these low level niggas quickly. That means everybody included. Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus is a low level nigga. The Young Bucks is a low level.
Ooh.
Now I know that he's gonna have to be associated with the Super Click, but like I'm gonna be honest.
Adam Cole, baby. He's a huge star, man. I'm not gonna hold you. Adam Cole, huge star. But I'm never gonna shit on an opening match on a Dynamite that went and slapped.
Hold on,
Like this guy, first reaction
shit on
is
that. Listen,
no. You didn't give this guy no props for going out there and performing that hell of a match.
And let me go back to explain why I said it. That nigga Adam Cole, if he wanted to wrestle Jungle Boy, he could have stayed at fucking NXT 2.0, my nigga. If he wanted to wrestle some upstart pillars of a fucking company, my nigga, he up jumped the boogie so he can go wrestle with some big dog draws, my nigga. And draws is too goddamn little.
I think you're bitter because you lost Adam Cole. I know you're an NXT fan, and he's in AEW, and he's over there doing great work.
Don't blow my high. I'm on mushrooms. Don't blow my high. Please, don't fucking blow my high. Talking about I'm bitter because.
Listen, you just said he could have stayed in NXT 2.0. Man, he moved already. He's moved over to AEW. He had a great match with a great performer who I'm like, oh, okay, this guy, he can go.
I knew Jungle Boy can go. He didn't need to. I don't need Adam Cole. Listen, I get CM Punk. I get CM Punk coming and wanting to put the guys over, right? I get the KG veteran wanting to come over and put the guys over. Daniel Bryan, he came over and said, I wanted to wrestle the best fucking competition available to me. No knock on that. I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking Daniel Bryan for. Listen, niggas was saying him and Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, whatever the fuck Jackson was a dream match. Who the fuck was dreaming that shit, bitch? Like, nigga, ain't that no fucking dream match?
Lord.
What are we talking about here? Niggas is over exaggerating because it's the new pussy in town, my nigga.
All right. But as far as it goes, that match Jungle Boy, Adam Cole, because you have not given till this point. You've not given that match this just due. I'm just gonna give it this just due. It was a great opener to Dynamite this week, one of my bangers of the week, and I believe that Jungle Boy, got my respect in that match and will be a future star for AEW, regardless of what Chris says and him being
because
low
because
level nigga.
it's a banger of the week. I'm sorry, I saw Big E and Bobby Lashley.
That's one of my bangers of the week too. I'm not going front.
I'm sorry, the opener of Raw was the Usos versus motherfucking the New Day versus the Bloodline. I'm not comparing, but let's be like, I done blew my wad already by Wednesday, nigga.
Ah, man. So you hold it against AEW, but there's no open slate with them. I blew my wad, so I'm just gonna sit back and sleep now. I'm just gonna sleep on AEW.
Oh, did I shit on? Hold on, you perpetrating now, my nigga. We just did a fucking podcast right after fucking Kenny Omega and Daniel Bryan. Did I shit on that match? And did it not open up Dynamite? And was it not a fucking banger?
I'm talking about this week. Like,
that's what I mean. Like, bro, that's what I'm comparing it to what they've already given. Nigga, Jungle Boy and Adam Cole is not fucking Daniel Bryan and Kenny Omega. It was a good opener. And Adam Cole go there to wrestle Jungle Boy, my nigga.
Right, listen.
And Adam Page, my nigga. That's what I'm talking about. That's the first thing that should have fucking happened when he came out there. It shouldn't have been no fucking Jungle Boy. That's my point.
All right. So you want to see Adam Cole? What you told me on the WhatsApp was you want to see him with the old school WWE guys. You want to see him with Miro, John Moxley. You want to see him with Daniel Bryan. Because you're going over the big names.
That's not what I said. I said the big names. Adam Page is a big name. Adam Page is the #1 pick of AEW. Adam Page and Adam Cole actually got ties to the fucking Bullet Club, which I think they could cross over and have a good fucking match. I think Adam Page is a bigger name and star.
I think what you're getting at is Adam Cole, since he's been in AEW, hasn't found his own angle as far as where they're going with him. I think that he's just had matches. Yeah, so to you is low level niggas. But he's had matches.
Niggas that his niggas already took care of. The Young Bucks already kicked that nigga fucking head in how many times for the tag team titles? Why the fuck Adam Cole gotta take care of their light work? He a low level nigga. The fuck? Nigga, next topic. The fuck are we talking
about? How you feeling about MJF Darby? That's fire.
No, that should be it. That should be the feud right there. That's the feud right there. Yeah. I don't know what MJF talking about the dead uncle and shit like that. Like, niggas is wilding, but like, I think he can if he can be able to find a line. But I think that's what he wants to do. That is his shtick.
That's who he is. He did the same thing with Brian Pillman Jr. He goes across the line. He finds a line and he just habitually steps it over. He's a habitual line stepper. So I believe that MJF is going to keep being that nigga, and that's what makes him MJF. I like that Darby was like, "You're not gonna mentally break me," and that was the end of the promo. They left it at that. So we're gonna see how this plays out in the future.
MJF is about to try to do everything to break that nigga.
Yeah,
that's gonna be nigga. If he end up putting pill bottles in this nigga bag or fucking spiking his motherfucking vitamin water or some shit, like,
oh man,
man.
There's so many things that can happen, with MJF. And we wanted him to be
Jericho did the Punk. Remember, that's the kind of story.
That is true. They did do that, and he had to do the sobriety test.
And he put hard down fucking Punk's mouth right in front of his sister, and like they did.
I like that. They did. I think that MJF he has to take it up a notch, and go far with it. I love the fact that we are at a point only 2 years after AEW has debuted that two of their homegrown talents can have a legit angle that feels like it means something.